Welcome back to the Rick Smith Show. Now, here is Rick Smith.
So here was an interesting story today. Evidently, federal authorities didn't let Paul Manafort get on a plane. Evidently, he was heading to Dubai, flying out of Miami on Emirates Airlines. And it's one of those things where, my mind first went to this spot where, I know he was convicted of crimes. I know that, Trump pardoned him, so, well, he shouldn't be held over. And I was like, why did they... why is his passport no good? I guess it's invalid. I guess it just ran out. I'm assuming, but they're saying it's an invalid passport, so they wouldn't let him go to Dubai. And I'm going, well, why is he going to Dubai? Oh, yeah, that's right. There are puddle jumpers that'll get you into Russia. That's right. That makes perfect sense. Now I know where he was probably going. Well, it is what it is. Anyway, here to share some thoughts on what's going on around the world and maybe what's going to happen in the next election cycle, and maybe a little bit about this. Maybe my next guest has got an idea where Paul Manafort was heading. That's why I've asked Joe Trippi to come talk with us. Joe is the founder of Lever Communications, also a senior advisor at the Lincoln Project. Also launching this week the brand new program Join the Union. Their website, jointheunion.us, had a great town hall this week. Joe, thanks for taking time for us.
Oh, no, Rick, great to be with you.
So let me ask you, the Manafort thing, is this a big deal? Does it matter?
Yeah, I think it is. One of the things that was interesting, a lot of flight trackers have been tracking flights in Moscow and where they're going to. And about 3 or 4 days ago, there was a big scramble of oligarch jets to Dubai, of all places, Rick. I don't know if you're noticing, seeing any coincidence here. And then suddenly today, Manafort is on his trying to get to Dubai. I think, and look, he clearly knew his passport was invalid. And so, he tried to slip through, but it didn't happen. The question is why? I mean, was he going there to meet, meet these oligarchs, or is something else about to drop and he wanted to get out of the country? I don't know the answer to any of that, but it sure is pretty suspicious given other flight movements by Russian oligarchs and where they've been traveling to.
Yeah, and for me, given his past, all of his connections in Ukraine and abroad there, lot of hairy, lot of unanswered questions. And if he's fleeing, I gotta wonder what shady is abound. Well,
I'm with you. I'm with you on that one. I agree.
Well, nothing trustworthy there in my view. But I got to also ask you about this. I know on Monday you guys launched the jointheunion.us website and the program. Tell me a little bit about what you guys are doing, this Join the Union program you guys got going on.
Yeah, well, it's the union, as in, all of us working to form a more perfect union, and as in the union that fought the Confederacy, to preserve our union, our republic, and our democracy. What we're doing is we're forming a place at jointheunion.us where everybody in the country, regardless of party, urban, rural, can join and become part of the grassroots effort to defeat the authoritarian movement here in the United States and win the 2022 and 2024 elections for pro-democracy candidates. And so you come, there's no donation page, any of that stuff. It's you come, you sign up, you tell us where you are, what you're interested in doing, whether it's being an activist who organizes or registers to vote, or whether you're an attorney who would like to maybe help get court injunctions to keep polls open on election night, or we're forming a tech corps to develop tools for people out there in their community to activate and get out the vote. And so there's all these different things you can sign up to do. And then what the union is going to do is place you with a campaign or an effort like Fair Fight Georgia, let's say in Georgia, or Mark Elias's group, Democracy Docket, on the court case stuff, everybody has some time or some energy, and what it's for really is all those people out there who, donate, and retweet things, but still everywhere we go, ask, there's got to be something I can do beyond that to stop this crazy authoritarian movement and the threat to our democracy. So jointheunion.us is the place to do that. That's where we're trying to already, Rick, 50,000 Americans have joined.
Wow.
And we hope to get this to be millions of Americans all active out there in their community, local, and making a difference in these House races, these Senate races, these Secretary of State races, that are going to be very important in terms of as Trump's already said, quoting Stalin, it's not who votes, it's who counts the votes. And so they're doing a lot of disruptive stuff there. So the union is a way to fight all of that. And it's about all of us in a union to protect our democracy.
Yeah, and the idea of participatory democracy. This is
yes.
This is something right up my alley. The idea of we the people being involved. And look, I don't care which side of the aisle you're on. We should want to hold on to liberal democracy. We
Yes.
should want to be able to hold on to this wonderful experiment of self-rule that has been passed down through the generations. And look, we've had bumps in the road, and right now, we're hurling through the air over a pretty giant bump, and we've got some work to do.
Yeah, no, and this is where if people want to do the work, want to help beyond, like I said, beyond giving a contribution or retweeting something, this is a way to get active. And by the way, if you don't want to knock on doors or do phone calls, there's all kinds of other things. We need help. And there's so many good groups locally in your local community that don't know you want to help, that we can plug you into. So this is a big, I think one of the most important things I've been involved in or done, I'm proud of a lot of stuff I've done in politics, but this is winning in protecting our democracy in 2022 and 2024, I think is the most important thing I can be part of.
Yeah, and
I hope everybody
you made
else out there
an important part there, because a lot of people want to do things, they just don't know where their talents and where their interests would be best used. This might be a good idea. You're listening to the Rick Smith Show. We're here with Joe Trippi. He's the founder of Lever Communications, senior advisor over at the Lincoln Project. Also, he is with jointheunion.us. Make sure you check out that page, as we've been talking about. Now, the reason I think this is really important is, you look at the headlines across the country, and just about every day you see this headline somewhere. New NRCC poll, shows, House GOP, Democrats in trouble. We're seeing this all over the place. And you read the numbers, that, the NRCC poll in 77 competitive House districts shows Republicans lead in generic ballot by 4 points. And you're going, oh my God, the sky's falling, because in those 77 districts, it's all over. And there's hope and despair. But it's not as bleak as they paint it, is it?
Not at all. Look, redistricting, let's take that. The beginning of last year, Republicans were supposed to be able, with their power in the legislatures, to draw 10 new ruby red districts that did not exist in 2020 because they could redraw the lines. It didn't happen. It's gone the other way. It's going to be +6 Biden districts. So right there, you have a swing of 16 districts. That 10 that should have gone Republican, now it's not. That didn't happen. There are 6 more positive Democratic districts. But then, look, these. First of all, and this is my second point on why we need Democrats should be, and pro-democracy people should be much more optimistic. They're nominating loons, Rick. I mean, lunatics. I mean, some of the people that they're nominating look like they're on the way to be nominated in the House, make Marjorie Taylor Greene look normal. So, right now you ask a generic question, hey, are you for your imaginary Republican, or are you going to vote for an imaginary Democrat? Well, wait till they see who the imaginary Republican is. It reminds me of 2010 when they had the witch, I think, in O'Donnell, I think in Delaware.
Christine O'Donnell.
Yeah, and Mr. legitimate rape in down in Missouri, I think it was.
Yeah.
I mean, they nominated lunatics and they lost Senate seats they should have won. And so when you look at these generic polls, yeah, it's like this imaginary Republican versus an imaginary Democrat. The reality is, and I'll use like the Senate race in Pennsylvania as a way to talk about it, because most people know the names up there. But okay, now you ask them whether you're going to vote for Dr. Oz or Fetterman, or Dr. Oz versus Connor Lamb. I'll bet you the difference between both a Fetterman Oz race and a Connor Lamb Oz race is different, right? It won't be the same exact number. Once people look at those two matchups, that's the same thing that's going to happen in race after race after race. And what's happening right now, they're nominating crazies. And across the country, when you look at the caliber of candidates, and by the way, it's not hard to have better caliber candidates than they're putting forward, but really strong Democratic candidates. And I think, like, even looking at the Pennsylvania race, you can have you can have your cup of tea there, whether it's Fetterman or Lamb, but either one of them would be better than Dr. Oz. I mean, in terms of their ability as a candidate and their ability to communicate and what they'd be fighting for. So no, I think ignore the generic numbers right now. And by the way, there's plenty of generic polls out there who show Democrats with 4-point leads. It's just, kind of the really interesting thing is, and we talked about this, is the 77 districts, because you and I both know there are not 77 battleground districts in the country. With all the redistricting that's gone on, it might be 30. So you wonder, maybe 38. I'm wondering, did they expand out to 77 with districts that were more Republican so that they could show that +4 number? In other words, did they only done that poll in the 30 or so truly up in the air districts, would they have gotten that kind of number? See, makes me wonder, because 77 there are not.
Yeah, because that was the first thing I brought up, and I think you heard me say that. I'm going, there aren't 77 competitive districts in the country, because we have, exactly. Sadly, and this is where where I am not opposed to gerrymandering, Joe. I wish we could gerrymander to get competitive districts. I want people fighting over issues. I want people, who's going to work hardest for working people, who's going to make sure that we get better roads and bridges and education and healthcare and all of those things that we think are important. Who's going to fight for that? Not who's going to do the idiocy and nonsense that we saw in the Senate Judiciary Committee today.
It's all performative. It was all performative act. That's all it was for the crazy QAnon base of all people.
Yeah, I mean, to steal, the Ben Sass line, the jackassery. I mean, come on already.
It's amazing.
But it's just one of these things that I'm hoping people this election cycle jump in and get involved. And again, if you want to jump in, get involved, make sure you check out their website at jointheunion.us, and we'll make sure we get links out on social media so you can check out Joe Trippi's site. And look, just new. And I like new shiny things. This will move us in this direction. I did want to get some of your thoughts on. I can't let you go without getting your thoughts on what's going on over in Ukraine. We talked about Paul Manafort and him heading in that direction. And a lot of the bad actors in this country have had their hands in what's going on over in that part of the world. I mean, they have their oligarchs and we have our billionaire job creators. And I think both of them are probably just as bad on some level. But I wanted to get your thoughts on what's going on over there.
Well, I mean, look, Manafort got Putin's guy got him elected there. And then the country revolted and threw him out, and he Manafort's guy fled back to Moscow. The amazing, crazy thing about what a lot of the right is talking about, like, when you hear Tucker Carlson yapping about democracy, Ukraine's not a democracy. I mean, Zelensky won with 73% of the vote. Against the corrupt establishment in Ukraine, threw them out. And so I think it's clear, and should have been clear to a lot of people, that Ukraine will fight and do everything they can to not come under his rule. There's no way. I mean, I said this 2 or 3 days before the invasion, that he did not understand the ferocity of the Ukrainian people. even after they had thrown out the last guy that Manafort put in.
Yeah.
So I think one, you know, I don't know if you saw the report today that the communications between the U.S. military and Russian military have totally, they haven't talked in like a month since the invasion started, which is always a bad thing because the accidents, the accidental things that can trigger an escalation, those are usually solved by that kind of communication. So I think we're in a very dangerous place. I think Biden, I look at where we are and the real threat of this thing escalating. And, you know, America's lucked out in the past where the right guy just showed up in the White House at the right time to match the moment. And I think, you know, tomorrow's meetings in Europe that Biden arrived there late tonight, it's crucial. It's crucial for him to hold that alliance together. It's a critical moment, and I am really grateful that Joe Biden's the president of the United States in this moment, because it's much more perilous than people think. We've all thought, oh, nuclear war is unimaginable, it'll never happen. I hope it stays that way, but I'm glad that we have calm, steady leadership and not shoot from the hip, just bombacity that we had for 4 years.
No, I'm right there with you. I'm exactly right there with you, Joe. But Joe, I appreciate the time. Again, I hope folks will check out the website, jointheunion.us. You can also check out the town hall that was on Monday, just /town hall. You can see some of that stuff as well. But Joe, great stuff. I appreciate the time. Hope you'll come back and talk to us again real soon.
Always, Rick. Thanks for having me.
Good stuff. Our good friend Joe Trippi. Make sure you check out the website again, jointheunion.us. Love to hear your thoughts. 1-866-416-RICK, 1-866-416-7425. Quick break, right back after this. And oh, hey, by the way, did you download the podcast yet? Make sure you grab that. Share it with a friend. They'll love it. Quick break, right back after this.